crash landing and unlikely allies. The desolate plains of Xerxes IX stretched as far as the eye could see, a sea of rust-colored sand, occasionally broken by jagged rock formations. The twin suns hung low on the horizon, casting long shadows across the barren landscape. It was in this unforgiving environment that fate would bring two unlikely individuals together. Commander Zara Vex of the Galactic Confederation Navy groaned as she regained consciousness. The acrid smell of burning circuitry filled her nostrils as she blinked, trying to orient herself. The last thing she remembered was her scout ship being ambushed by pirate vessels on the outskirts of the system. Now, she found herself strapped into the pilot's seat of her craft, which had apparently crash-landed on this desolate world. Zara winced as she unbuckled herself, feeling a sharp pain in her side. Probably a broken rib, she thought grimly. As she took stock of her situation, the reality of her predicament began to sink in. Her ship was beyond repair, its sleek hull now a mangled wreck half buried in the sand. The emergency beacon was damaged, broadcasting only a weak signal that might never be picked up. And worst of all, her left leg was pinned beneath a collapsed section of the cockpit. As panic began to set in, Zara heard a sound that made her blood run cold, the distinct whine of a hovercraft approaching. Pirates, she thought, her hand instinctively reaching for her sidearm. But to her dismay, the weapon was nowhere to be found, likely thrown from its holster during the crash. The hovercraft came to a stop near the wreckage, and Zara held her breath, preparing for the worst. To her surprise, a single figure emerged, not the rough-looking pirate she had expected, but a human male. He approached cautiously, his weathered face a mix of concern and curiosity. "Hello," the man called out, his voice carrying a hint of an accent Zara couldn't quite place. "Anyone alive in there?" Zara hesitated, unsure whether to respond. The Galactic Confederation had limited contact with humans, viewing them as a primitive species barely worth notice. But right now, this human might be her only chance at survival. "Here," she called out weakly. "I'm trapped." The man's eyes widened as he peered into the cockpit, clearly surprised to see an alien life form. But to Zara's relief, he didn't hesitate. "Hold on," he said, already assessing the situation. "I'll get you out of there." Over the next hour, the human, who introduced himself as Jack Cooper, worked tirelessly to free Zara from the wreckage. Using tools from his hovercraft and an impressive display of ingenuity, he managed to lift the debris pinning her leg and carefully extract her from the ship. As Jack tended to her injuries using a basic med kit, Zara studied him curiously. He was unlike any human she had encountered in the historical records. His skin was deeply tanned, his hands calloused from years of hard work. His eyes, a striking blue, held a depth of experience that belied his species' relative youth in galactic affairs. "What brings a human out to this wasteland?" Zara asked, wincing as Jack wrapped a bandage around her injured leg. Jack's expression darkened slightly. "Let's just say I needed a fresh start," he replied evasively. "Been out here for 5 years now, salvaging what I can to get by." He paused, looking at Zara with newfound intensity. "But I've never come across anything like you or your ship before. Who are you? And what happened up there?" Zara weighed her options carefully. Confederation protocols strictly forbade sharing sensitive information with less advanced species. But given her current situation, she decided a partial truth was necessary. "I'm Commander Zara Vex of the Galactic Confederation," she said, noting Jack's look of amazement. "I was on a routine scouting mission when I was ambushed by pirates. They damaged my ship, forcing me to crash land here." Jack whistled low. "Galactic Confederation, huh? Guess the universe is a whole lot bigger than we thought." He stood up, brushing sand from his worn coveralls. "Well, Commander, looks like you're stuck here for the time being. My shelter's about an hour's ride from here. It's not much, but it's safe and out of this heat. What do you say?" Zara hesitated only for a moment before nodding. "Lead the way, Mr. Cooper, and thank you." As they made their way to Jack's hovercraft, Zara couldn't help but feel a mix of emotions. On one hand, she was grateful for this human's help and impressed by his resourcefulness. On the other, she knew that her presence here could have far-reaching consequences for both their species. The ride to Jack's shelter was mostly silent, broken only by the occasional question about each other's backgrounds. Zara learned that Jack had been an engineer back on Earth before a series of personal tragedies led him to seek solitude on this frontier world. In turn, she shared some basic information about the Confederation, careful not to reveal anything too sensitive. As they crested a hill, Jack's shelter came into view. It was a hodgepodge structure, cobbled together from salvaged spacecraft parts and local materials. Solar panels glinted in the fading sunlight, powering various jury-rigged systems. "Home sweet home," Jack said with a hint of pride. "It's not much, but it's kept me alive out here." As they entered the shelter, Zara was surprised by its interior. Despite the rough exterior, Jack had managed to create a relatively comfortable living space. Recycled systems hummed quietly, maintaining a livable temperature and filtering the air. "You've done impressive work here," Zara admitted, genuinely impressed by the human's ingenuity. Jack shrugged, but a small smile played at the corners of his mouth. "When you're alone out here, you learn to make do with what you've got." As night fell, Jack prepared a simple meal from his supplies. Zara was surprised to find that the food was not only edible for her species, but actually quite palatable. As they ate, the conversation turned to more pressing matters. "So, Commander," Jack began, his tone serious. "What's your plan now? I hate to break it to you, but there's no one out here but me for thousands of miles. And if those pirates are still looking for you..." Zara nodded grimly. "They likely are. Pirates in this sector are known for their persistence." She paused, considering her options. "My first priority is to boost the signal on my emergency beacon. If I can do that, there's a chance a Confederation rescue team might pick it up." Jack leaned back, thoughtful. "I might be able to help with that. I've got some communications equipment salvaged from old wrecks. Between that and the tech from your ship, we might be able to rig something up." Zara felt a surge of hope, quickly tempered by caution. "That would be incredibly helpful, Jack. But I have to warn you, by helping me, you may be putting yourself at risk. If the pirates trace the signal here..." Jack's expression hardened. "I've dealt with pirates before. They're the reason I'm out here in the first place. If they come, we'll face them together." As Zara looked into Jack's determined eyes, she felt something she hadn't experienced in a long time, a sense of trust and companionship. Despite their differences, despite the vast gulf between their species and experiences, she knew that she and this human were now in this together. "All right," she said, extending her hand in the human gesture of agreement she had learned about. "Partners?" Jack took her hand, his grip firm and reassuring. "Partners." As they shook hands, neither of them could have imagined the adventures that lay ahead, adventures that would not only change their lives, but potentially reshape the relationship between humanity and the wider galactic community. Outside, the twin suns of Xerxes 9 dipped below the horizon, plunging the desert into darkness. But inside the shelter, a small spark of hope had been kindled, a spark that would soon grow into a flame bright enough to illuminate the stars themselves. Survival and discovery. As the harsh suns of Xerxes 9 rose, bathing the desolate landscape in a surreal orange glow, Zara and Jack were already hard at work. Their unlikely partnership had quickly evolved into a seamless collaboration, human ingenuity complementing alien technology in ways neither had anticipated. "Pass me that quantum flux regulator, would you?" Jack called out, his voice muffled as he lay half-buried under the communications array they were constructing. Zara handed him the device, marveling at how quickly the human had grasped the principles of Confederation tech. "You know," she said, a hint of admiration in her voice, "most species take decades to understand these systems. You've done it in days." Jack emerged, his face streaked with grease and sweat. He grinned, a spark of excitement in his eyes. Well, when the stakes are this high, you learn fast or you don't survive. Besides, he added with a wink, I've always been a quick study. As they worked, Zara found herself increasingly fascinated by her human companion. Jack's resilience and adaptability were unlike anything she had encountered in her years of space exploration. Where most beings would have crumbled under the harsh conditions of Xerxes 9, Jack had thrived, turning the inhospitable planet into a home. There, Jack exclaimed suddenly, stepping back from the array. That should do it. Want to give it a try? Zara nodded, her hearts racing with anticipation. She activated the emergency beacon, and for a moment, nothing happened. Then, with a low hum, the array came to life, pulsing with energy as it broadcast their distress signal into the vast emptiness of space. It's working, Zara breathed, relief washing over her. Jack, you did it. But their celebration was short-lived. As the signal strengthened, an alarm on Jack's salvage sensor array began to blare. Oh, Jack muttered, rushing to check the readings. His face paled. We've got company. Looks like your pirate friends picked up the signal too. Zara's expression hardened. How long do we have? An hour, maybe less, Jack replied, already moving to gather supplies. We need to move. Now. What followed was a frantic scramble to gather essentials and cover their tracks. As they loaded Jack's hovercraft with supplies and equipment, Zara couldn't help but be impressed by the human's calm efficiency under pressure. You seem oddly prepared for this, she remarked as Jack expertly packed a crate of survival gear. Jack's expression turned grim. Let's just say this isn't my first run-in with pirates. I've learned to always be ready to bug out at a moment's notice. As they sped across the barren landscape, the twin suns beating down mercilessly, Zara's mind raced. The pirates were closing in, and they were woefully outgunned. But as she glanced at Jack, focused intently on navigating the treacherous terrain, an idea began to form. Jack, she said suddenly, how well do you know the geology of this area? Jack raised an eyebrow. Like the back of my hand. Why? Zara's eyes gleamed with a mix of excitement and trepidation. I have a crazy idea, but it's going to require every ounce of that human ingenuity you're so famous for. Over the next hour, as the pirate ships drew ever closer, Zara and Jack put their desperate plan into action. Using a combination of Confederation tech and Jack's intimate knowledge of the planet's terrain, they set up a series of false beacons and holographic decoys, creating a maze of misleading signals for their pursuers. But the true stroke of genius came in the form of an ancient geological formation Jack had discovered years ago, a vast network of underground caverns hidden beneath the planet's surface and shielded from most scanning technology by unusual mineral deposits. As the first pirate ships appeared on the horizon, sleek and menacing against the orange sky, Zara and Jack made their final preparations. With a series of carefully timed detonations, they triggered a controlled collapse, sealing themselves inside the cavern network while leaving a trail of false evidence on the surface. For what felt like an eternity, they huddled in the darkness, listening to the muffled sounds of the pirates searching above. Zara found herself unconsciously gripping Jack's hand, drawing comfort from his steady presence. Finally, after hours of tense waiting, the sounds faded. Jack cautiously activated a low-power scanner, and a slow smile spread across his face. "They're gone," he whispered. "Your plan worked." As relief washed over them, Zara suddenly became acutely aware of their proximity in the cramped cavern. In the dim light of their emergency lamps, she could see every line and scar on Jack's face, each one telling a story of survival against impossible odds. For a moment, the vast differences between their species seemed to fade away, leaving only a profound connection forged in the crucible of shared danger. But as they began to explore their new underground sanctuary, they stumbled upon something that would change everything: an ancient alien structure, far older than any known civilization, hidden deep within the caverns. What in the name of the cosmic architects is this? Zara breathed, her eyes wide with wonder as they took in the massive, intricately carved doorway before them. Jack ran his hand along the strange symbols etched into the stone, a look of awe on his face. "I don't know," he said softly, "but I have a feeling we've just stumbled onto something big, something that could change everything." As they stood there, human and alien united in their amazement, neither could have imagined the incredible journey that lay ahead, a journey that would not only test the limits of their newfound partnership, but potentially reshape the very fabric of galactic civilization. The cavern fell silent once more, save for the soft hum of their equipment and the steady drip of water echoing in the distance. But in that silence, a new chapter in the story of humanity and the cosmos was about to unfold, one that would be remembered for eons to come. The enigma beneath. The air in the underground cavern was thick with anticipation as Zara and Jack stood before the massive alien doorway. Its surface gleamed with an otherworldly iridescence, defying the laws of physics as they understood them. Intricate symbols, unlike any language known to the Galactic Confederation or humanity, swirled across its surface in mesmerizing patterns. "I've never seen anything like this," Zara murmured, her scientific curiosity overriding her usual caution. "The energy readings are off the charts. This structure predates any known civilization by millions of years." Jack nodded, his eyes wide with wonder. "It's beautiful," he breathed. Then, with a mischievous grin, he added, "So, shall we knock?" Before Zara could protest, Jack reached out and placed his hand on the center of the door. Instantly, the symbols blazed to life, pulsing with an inner light that seemed to resonate with something deep within them both. With a low rumble that shook the very foundations of the cavern, the massive door began to slide open. "Jack," Zara hissed, torn between exasperation and excitement. "We have no idea what's in there. It could be dangerous." But Jack's eyes sparkled with an irrepressible curiosity that Zara was beginning to recognize as quintessentially human. "Only one way to find out," he said, taking a step forward. "Coming." Sighing in resignation, Zara followed him into the unknown. What they discovered beyond the doorway defied imagination. A vast chamber stretched out before them, filled with technology so advanced it bordered on magic. Holographic displays flickered to life as they entered, showing star maps of uncharted regions of the galaxy. Strange machines hummed with barely contained power, their purpose a tantalizing mystery. "This is incredible," Zara whispered, her scientific mind racing to make sense of what she was seeing. "This technology, it's light years beyond anything the Confederation has ever encountered." As they explored deeper into the complex, they stumbled upon something that made even Zara's breath catch in her throat. A massive hangar bay, housing sleek spacecraft of a design so elegant and advanced that they seemed to defy the very laws of physics. "Holy smokes," Jack breathed, running his hand along the smooth hull of the nearest ship. "With something like this, we could outrun those pirates without breaking a sweat." But as Zara was about to respond, a holographic figure suddenly materialized before them. It was tall and ethereal, its form constantly shifting like starlight on water. When it spoke, its voice seemed to bypass their ears entirely, resonating directly in their minds. "Greetings, seekers," the being said, its tone both ancient and timeless. "You have been deemed worthy to access the legacy of the precursors, but be warned, with great knowledge comes great responsibility. Are you prepared for the burden that comes with such power?" Zara and Jack exchanged a look, a silent communication passing between them. In that moment, they both knew that their lives would never be the same. Whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them together. "We are," they said in unison, their voices echoing through the chamber. The hologram nodded, a hint of approval in its ever-shifting features. "Then let the trials begin. May you prove worthy of the gifts that await." Suddenly, the chamber around them began to shift and change. Walls rearranged themselves, creating a labyrinth of corridors and rooms. Strange symbols appeared on the walls, pulsing with an inner light that seemed to call out to them. "Looks like we got some puzzles to solve," Jack said with a grin, already studying the nearest set of symbols. "You up for a challenge, Commander?" Zara couldn't help but smile, infected by Jack's enthusiasm. Always, Mr. Cooper. Let's see what these precursors have in store for us. Over the next several hours, Zara and Jack faced a series of increasingly complex trials. Each challenge tested not only their intelligence and problem-solving skills, but also their ability to work together, combining Zara's vast knowledge of advanced science with Jack's unconventional thinking and intuitive grasp of patterns. They deciphered alien mathematical equations that seemed to bend the fabric of reality itself. They navigated virtual simulations of long-lost worlds, piecing together the history of the precursors from fragments of holographic records. And through it all, their bond grew stronger, a partnership forged in the crucible of discovery. As they completed the final trial, the chamber around them shimmered and transformed once more. They found themselves back in the hangar bay, but now the ships hummed with life, their systems fully activated. The holographic precursor appeared before them once more, its form somehow more solid than before. "You have proven yourselves worthy," it intoned. "The legacy of the precursors is now yours to bear. Use it wisely, for the fate of galaxies may rest in your hands." With those words, the being faded away, leaving Zara and Jack alone in the vast hangar. For a moment, they stood in stunned silence, the weight of their newfound responsibility settling upon them. "So," Jack said finally, a mix of excitement and trepidation in his voice, "what do we do now?" Zara took a deep breath, her mind racing with the implications of what they had discovered. "We have a choice to make," she said slowly. "We could use this technology to escape, to outrun the pirates and return to the Confederation. Or, Jack prompted, sensing the hesitation in her voice. "Or we could do something more," Zara continued, a fire kindling in her eyes. "This technology, this knowledge, it could change everything. We could reshape the balance of power in the galaxy, bring peace to war-torn worlds, unlock the secrets of the universe itself." Jack nodded, a slow smile spreading across his face. "I like the sound of that. Zara and Jack, intergalactic problem solvers, has a nice ring to it, don't you think?" Zara couldn't help but laugh, the sound echoing through the vast chamber. "Indeed it does, Mr. Cooper. Indeed it does." As they boarded one of the precursor ships, its systems interfacing seamlessly with their thoughts, Zara and Jack knew that they were embarking on the greatest adventure of their lives. The universe stretched out before them, vast and full of possibilities. "Ready to make some history?" Jack asked, his hands dancing over the ship's controls with an intuitive ease that belied their complexity. Zara nodded, a thrill of excitement running through her. "Always. Let's show the galaxy what a human and a Confederation officer can do when they work together." With a burst of energy that defied conventional physics, the ship lifted off, carrying them out of the underground hangar and into the star-studded sky above Saxis 9. As the planet dwindled behind them, Zara and Jack shared a look of pure exhilaration. Their journey was just beginning, and the universe would never be the same. Cosmic revelations. The precursor ship glided through the cosmos with an elegance that defied known laws of physics. Inside, Zara and Jack marveled at the panoramic view of swirling galaxies and nebulae that surrounded them, their faces bathed in the soft glow of holographic displays. "I still can't believe this is real," Jack murmured, his eyes wide with wonder. "A few days ago, I was just a lone scavenger on a backwater planet. Now look at us, flying an alien supership through uncharted space." Zara nodded, her own sense of awe palpable. The Confederation's top scientists would give their left tentacles to study this technology. It's revolutionary. As they conversed, a holographic interface materialized before them, pulsing with an otherworldly light. "Greetings, inheritors," a melodious voice echoed through the ship. "I am ARIA, the Artificial Resonance Intelligence Assistant. How may I guide you on your cosmic journey?" Jack whistled low. "Now that's what I call an upgrade from my old ship's navigational computer." Zara leaned forward, her scientific curiosity piqued. "RIA, can you tell us more about the precursors? Who were they, And why did they leave behind this legacy? The hologram shimmered, transforming into a series of intricate star maps and historical timelines. The precursors were an ancient race that achieved cosmic enlightenment eons ago, HFY explained. They seeded the galaxy with the building blocks of life, guiding the evolution of countless species. But they foresaw a great calamity, a cosmic threat that could unravel the very fabric of reality. Jack and Zara exchanged worried glances. What kind of threat are we talking about here? Jack asked, a hint of trepidation in his voice. Aria's hologram shifted again, depicting a massive, shadowy entity that seemed to devour light itself. The void hunger, HFY intoned solemnly. A cosmic aberration that consumes entire galaxies, growing stronger with each world it devours. The precursors created this ship and others, like it, as a safeguard, to be unlocked only when worthy inheritors were found. Zara's mind raced with the implications. Are you saying that we're meant to stop this void hunger? That is correct, Inheritor Zara, HFY confirmed. You and Inheritor Jack have been chosen to wield the power of the precursors and face this threat. But first, you must gather allies and unlock the full potential of this vessel. Jack leaned back in his seat, running a hand through his hair. No pressure or anything, he quipped, though his voice held a note of determination. So, where do we start? Aria's hologram expanded, highlighting a series of coordinates across the galaxy. These are the locations of other precursor sites, the AI explained. Each holds a piece of the puzzle, advanced technology, cosmic knowledge, and resources you'll need for the battles ahead. As Zara and Jack studied the map, a sudden alarm blared through the ship. Warning, HFY announced, multiple vessels approaching. Signatures match known pirate factions and Confederation peacekeepers. Looks like our past is catching up with us, Jack muttered, his hands already moving to the ship's controls. Any suggestions, HFY? The A's response was immediate, initiating quantum displacement drive. Prepare for interdimensional jump. Before either of them could react, the space around the ship seemed to fold in on itself. Stars blurred into streaks of light, and for a brief, breathtaking moment, Zara and Jack glimpsed realities beyond their comprehension, worlds where the laws of physics were mere suggestions, dimensions of pure thought and energy. When reality snapped back into focus, they found themselves in orbit around a lush, green world unlike any they had ever seen. Massive floating islands drifted through the sky, connected by bridges of pure energy. The planet's surface was a tapestry of impossible geography, rivers that flowed upwards, forests of crystalline trees, and mountains that seemed to phase in and out of existence. Welcome to Nexus Prime, HFY announced. Homeworld of the cosmic architects, allies of the precursors and masters of reality manipulation. As they stared in awe at the world below, a transmission crackled through the ship's communications system. Unidentified vessel, a melodious voice called out, "You bear the signature of the precursors. You are welcome to Nexus Prime. Please proceed to the celestial spire for docking." Zara and Jack shared a look of excitement and trepidation. "Well," Jack said with a grin, "I guess it's time to make some new friends. Ready to be diplomats, Commander." Zara couldn't help but smile. "As ready as I'll ever be, Mr. Cooper. Let's hope these cosmic architects are as friendly as they sound." As they guided the ship towards the towering structure of impossible geometry that was the celestial spire, both Zara and Jack felt the weight of their newfound responsibility. They were no longer just fugitives or survivors. They were the galaxy's best hope against a threat beyond imagination. The ship docked with a whisper of energy, and as the airlock cycled open, Zara and Jack stepped out onto the prismatic surface of Nexus Prime. They were immediately greeted by a group of beings that defied description, their forms shifting and flowing like living constellations, eyes gleaming with the wisdom of eons. "Welcome, inheritors," the lead figure said, its voice resonating not just in their ears, but in the very core of their beings. "We have long awaited your arrival. Come, There is much to discuss and little time to waste. The fate of all realities hangs in the balance. As they followed their otherworldly hosts into the celestial spire, Zara and Jack knew that this was just the beginning of their cosmic odyssey. The universe had chosen them for a reason, and they were determined to rise to the challenge. Little did they know that their greatest trials and their greatest triumphs still lay ahead. The void hunger was stirring, and the clock was ticking. But with their unique partnership, the legacy of the precursors, and the allies they would make along the way, Zara and Jack were ready to face whatever the cosmos had in store. The adventure of a lifetime was just beginning, and the stars themselves seemed to shine a little brighter in anticipation of what was to come. Cosmic Crucible. The celestial spire of Nexus Prime pulsed with ethereal energy as Zara and Jack followed their shimmering hosts deeper into its impossible geometry. Corridors twisted and turned, defying Euclidean logic, yet somehow feeling intuitive to navigate. It was as if the very structure of the building was alive, responding to their thoughts and guiding them to their destination. "I gotta say," Jack whispered to Zara, his voice filled with awe, "this beats any corporate boardroom I've ever been in." Zara nodded, her scientific mind racing to comprehend the marvels around them. "The level of reality manipulation here it's beyond anything I could have imagined." Their guide, a being of pure starlight who had introduced itself as Aeon, came to a stop before a massive door that seemed to be made of flowing liquid metal. With a gesture, the door parted like a curtain, revealing a vast chamber that appeared to contain an entire galaxy in miniature. "Welcome to the Nexus Sanctum," Aeon intoned, its voice reverberating through their very souls. "Here, the cosmic architects observe and maintain the delicate balance of realities." As they entered, Zara and Jack found themselves surrounded by holographic displays of cosmic events, swirling vortexes of data, and what appeared to be windows into other dimensions. At the center of it all stood a group of beings even more majestic than their guides, the High Council of Cosmic Architects. Inheritors, the lead architect spoke, its form a constantly shifting masterpiece of light and energy. "Your arrival heralds the beginning of the final act in a drama billions of years in the making. The void hunger stirs, and all of creation trembles in its wake." A holographic display materialized before them, showing a massive, roiling darkness consuming entire galaxies. Jack felt a chill run down his spine. That's the void hunger. It's enormous." Zara's face was grim. "How can we possibly hope to stop something like that?" The High Architect's form pulsed with what might have been approval. "A wise question, Inheritor Zara. The answer lies not in brute force, but in understanding. The void hunger is not merely a physical threat, it is a cosmic imbalance, a cancer in the very fabric of reality." The precursors, another architect continued, discovered that the key to defeating the void hunger lay in the unique properties of sentient life, specifically in the power of choice, of free will, and of the bonds formed between diverse beings. Jack's eyes lit up with understanding. "That's why they chose us, a human and a Confederation officer. We're about as diverse as you can get." Aeon nodded, its starlight form twinkling. "Precisely. Your partnership, forged in the crucible of survival and discovery, represents a cosmic harmony that is anathema to the void hunger." "But two beings alone are not enough," the High Architect added. "You must gather others, representatives from across the cosmos, each bringing their unique perspectives and abilities. Together, you will form the Cosmic Concordance, a living weapon against the encroaching darkness." Zara's mind raced with the implications. A coalition of species, working together to save all of reality, it's unprecedented. Jack grinned, his earlier trepidation replaced by excitement. "Sounds like the ultimate team-building exercise. I'm in." The chamber suddenly darkened, and a new hologram appeared, a map of critical points across the universe. "These are the focal points where the void hunger's influence is strongest," Aeon explained. "You must journey to each, facing trials and gathering allies along the way. At each point, the High Architect continued, you will need to stabilize the cosmic fabric, pushing back the void hunger's advance. But be warned, as you grow stronger, so too will the enemy. It will send agents to stop you, horrors beyond imagination. Jack cracked his knuckles, a determined glint in his eye. Bring it on. We've come too far to back down now. Zara nodded in agreement, feeling a surge of pride in her human partner's bravery. We accept this mission. For the sake of all realities, we will not fail. The High Architect's form blazed with approval. Then let the cosmic crucible begin. Your ship has been upgraded with the knowledge and technology you'll need for the journey ahead. Go forth, inheritors, and may the cosmic balance be with you. As Zara and Jack turned to leave, ready to embark on their grand mission, Aeon stopped them with a final warning. Remember, it said, its voice heavy with the weight of eons, the greatest weapon against the void hunger is not technology or even cosmic power. It is the connections you forge, the understanding you gain, and the growth you achieve. In the darkest moments, trust in each other and in the allies you'll make along the way. With those words echoing in their minds, Zara and Jack boarded their upgraded precursor ship. The vessel hummed with new power, its systems even more intricately linked to their thoughts and emotions. So, Jack said as they prepared for launch, a mix of excitement and nervousness in his voice, ready to save the universe, partner. Zara smiled, feeling more alive than she had in years. With you by my side, Mr. Cooper, always. As the ship lifted off, its quantum drives preparing to catapult them across the cosmos, neither Zara nor Jack could fully grasp the magnitude of the adventure that lay ahead. They would face challenges that would test their resolve, forge alliances that would reshape galactic politics, and confront truths about themselves and the nature of reality that would shake them to their core. But through it all, their partnership, the unlikely bond between a human scavenger and a Confederation officer, would prove to be the linchpin in the battle for all of existence. The cosmic crucible had begun, and the fate of every reality hung in the balance. As their ship vanished into the quantum slipstream, leaving Nexus Prime behind, the stars themselves seemed to hold their breath in anticipation of the epic saga that was about to unfold.